In recent years, video games have come to demand larger and larger crowds and increasingly more complex maps. Simulating hundreds if not thousands of crowd members per frame can be computationally heavy. My idea for this project was to obtain a simulation with potentially thousands of agents running in real time, each with the ability to target any tile on a given map. To start, it is imperative that paths are calculated before the simulation is run. Without this, only a few, if even one, would be able to run in real time. For reference, through my testing I found a single 256 by 256 flow field takes around 20 seconds to calculate. When calculating one of these for each tile in a 256 by 256 map, this adds up to over 22 days of calculation. To cut down the time for computation and the memory usage, I theorized that it might be viable to instead generate many smaller maps and then link them using a higher level map. My research backed this hypothesis, and as such I started implementation. The first step was to calculate the distance from each node of each section to every other node in that section. I used Dijkstra's algorithm for this process, storing the distances for later use in the program. These distances were then used to calculate a flow field for each goal tile in each section, which are then later used to steer the agents towards their respective goals. These flow fields were then linked via a set of junctions that are defined to occur on the edges of any section that neighbours another. So far, the size of sections, their junction placement, and so on have been uniform. However, it is worth noting this project simply acts as a proof of concept, and as such in an extended form, an artist could have control over section size and placement, along with how many junctions link it to other sections and where they occur. The distance from each junction to every other junction is found by again using Dijkstra's algorithm, only now using the results of the previous set of distances calculated for each section to find the distance between the entrance and exit tile of each section. A full set of chains linking each source junction to each destination junction is then generated, allowing a path to be chosen later at runtime. As for the agents themselves, they each have randomly assigned parameters to control their behavior in various ways, such as their individual speeds, whether they follow another agent, or whether they instead target pre-tagged tiles based on how hungry they are, or if they might seek toilet facilities if their hygiene has decayed enough. I also implemented relatively fast collision avoidance by using an exponential avoidance factor applied to a distance vector from each agent to the other agents within their relative local area. This area is defined as being the section an agent is in, or the sections if an agent is traveling across a boundary. Another feature implemented are traffic light tiles. When a map is passed to the simulation, two pairs of traffic light sets can be defined, allowing for any number of these to be placed around the map. When light set A is on, B is off, and the same for set C and D. This allows for some of the drawbacks of this way of mapping to be hidden. For example, as each agent is forced through a junction, these traffic lights could be placed at these junctions to hide the restricted flow. Overall, the project has been a success, with 2,500 agents able to run at 60 frames per second stably on my laptop, with 10,000 agents tested to be running at around 15 to 20 frames per second. With more time, I would extend the features of the simulation, such as greater section detail and the ability to place junctions manually for each section. The performance of the simulation could also be increased by utilising multi-threading as opposed to the current single-threaded approach.